Alrighty. So my power was out, and for some reason it looks like my camera is not focusing. Yeah, my power was out, and that's why I'm late to this stream. But it's all good. We're good to go now. Hopefully, it looks like my camera is not out of focus. I hope it's not. That would stink. All right, Logic. Let's do the thing. Loading this project up. So there's two last bits of things in this session that I'm going to essentially make sure are taken care of before we actually start mixing. One of those things is I was going to add a kick and a snare sample. So I was going to go ahead and add my samples that I want to use for this, and I was going to go ahead and show you guys I guess how I go about that. And I'm going to set up the control surface for this project. So everything in here is already essentially routed for the most part. So I have, well, since I'm still doing the drum thing, I'm going to make my drum bus and all that in a second. But I have the drums, I have my bass master, electric guitar master, acoustic master, melodic post master, cinematic post master, and then I have a vocal bus, an instrument bus, and a mix bus. So that's what this session is working with. The way that looks is we have everything going to an instrument bus that are, not the vocals and everything going to the vocal bus, and then these two are summed going to the mix bus. So that's how this works, and we're going to go ahead and start with doing the drums. First, getting the snare and kick samples going on this. Before I do, bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and add that link so the people who are on Instagram with us can, see. So bear with me for just a second. How to make that post. My power went out for like a solid hour, so now we're actually live. Come hang. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just say, yo, come be here. Bear with me just a sec. It's just kind of annoying. You gotta go, you gotta copy the link, you gotta add the stupid thing and all that, but it is what it is. I wonder if you can do this like ahead of time. All right. Back to business. Hey, what's up, Alistair? Doing all right. Been a little bit of an annoying day, but we're getting through it. I'm actually gonna. This is the mix I was telling you about that I'm gonna be using your samples. So shout out to my boy Alistair here. I'm looking. Am I actually looking swole, bro? I feel like I've lost like so much weight. I feel like I've lost a lot of muscle mass. There it is. Snare sample. So this is the amalgamation that I have with my sample. I have my snare top that I made of my sample out there, my snare bottom of the sample that I have out there, like my actual kit. I have the room sample of my entire, living room / hallway out there. And this is the snare articulation that Alistair here in the chat, he gave to me, and I'm blending this in. Right now, I have the snare room muted because I don't need it. In fact, I can just make this trigger instance mono. I was just, using this trigger instance to vibe with and see what snare sample I wanted to use for this. So this is the sample with a sample blend. This is just the pinging sample. That's the one from Alistair, and then this is just the ones from my kit. And if I add the room is the sauce, but that's going to come later. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't like to think too hard about this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and bounce this in place and, commit. So what I also have here, I don't know if y'all notice this is important. I flipped the polarity on this sample to make sure that was good. And then the actual sum of those samples, it wasn't like out of phase with the original snare, but you know, I was like, let's see what happens. And it sounded marginally better. There's a little bit more definition in the transient, in the lows when I had that. So I was like, you know what, I'll just go with that. But it really was kind of a toss up, not even gonna lie. So, where is it? Snare sample, snare blip. Let's go. Actually, I just named that snare sample 1. And I actually want to have a second one. That's another snare sample in addition to this. It says, if you click where it says snare top on my sample on the TCI, you can swap it out for the room overhead direct mics. Interesting. How do I... Right here? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I guess you would just like load multiple instances and then swap. Okay, I see it. Articulation name. That makes sense. Cool. I'll have to experiment with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this instance of trigger. We're going to add a new instance of trigger. And to give you an example, I guess, of what the drums sound like right now, this is straight out of the sampler. It's a very natural sounding sampler. It's the Room Sound Blue version 2. So really, really big, warm, roomy. The actual snare is pretty chunky. It's a pretty fat boy. Cause this is like a what is it called? Like a country folk track. And I just needed some more snap because I wasn't getting the snap. So that's why I have, this sample. I wanted some snap. But now I want to actually have like a creative sample to kind of like blend in there and make it feel a little bit more modern, because I want to mix this kind of like a radio country thing. And I kind of just want to see what I have and just pick some random drum sample that feels cool. Maybe I'll go with a mixed wave, the Luke Holland. What do I have here? Definitely wouldn't be a popcorn snare. Let me see. I'll go ahead and get... throw that in there, see if that one vibes. Looking for like something that's like kind of fat. I have more snares somewhere else. It sounds from the Echo Bar. Bob Horn samples. Let's see, Steven Slate drum files. I don't know why I'm trying to access that there. I'm gonna have to change my my bass directory, because I have like 2 different directories for drum samples. Should be somewhere around here. Is that under documents? There it is. Trigger sample folder. All right, so now I can see what's in here. Oh yeah, I forgot I had the Ciroz samples. I totally forgot about these that I made. I'm gonna throw one of those in there. And the Thomas Pridgeon has a good one, the big snare. Let's go with the mixed. I'm gonna go with both the top boost, and I'm gonna go with the bottom. Promise I'll actually get into the mixing. I just, I wanted to show how I, get my stuff. I like to do this on the day of the mixing because it's fun. So let's go ahead and... That's hilarious. That's everything together. Let's just... We got that. There we go. So we'll start with the big snare first. Let's loop this. This is gonna be my one shotty, like big fat, you know, just like radio country snare that I'm gonna blend in. I think that is that's pretty much what I want. This one is probably gonna have the least. I don't know. Maybe it won't be the least amount mixed in. Maybe I'll actually end up enjoying, you know, leveling that in more. But I have a snare top, snare sample 1, snare sample 2. I have one snare room, and then I want to have a completely different snare room. So we're going to, again, redo all this. Make this trigger a stereo trigger. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, clear my slots. And now we're just going to load in the room samples of the stuff. And I have a good blend that I'm going to use for that. And that blend is, well, one of them is definitely the snare that I made. The snare that I made is just so good. The actual hallway, the room hallway sample is really, really stinking good. I'm going to use that. I really actually like the Luke Holland one too, the black brass mixed room. And I'm going to go ahead and do the Syrah's room that I also made. So this is going to be my sample, my sample blend for the rooms. I want to use primarily mine. That gives it some width. That's cool. That'll be snare room 2. And then after this, we're going to add my kick sample that I want to use, which I think I'm just going to use one. I think I'm just going to use one extra kick sample outside of the one that I have. Because I have a kick in and I have a kick out, and it's very on brand for the song. Very organic sounding kick, but I want something something a little paunchy, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that track now. That's trash. I'm going to go ahead and start, you know, organizing things. Why did it do that? That is not what I asked it to do. I have a lot of interesting things that I do whenever I get my drums out here, which is very integral to the kind of sound that I'm actually able to achieve. For instance, like I have a snare overhead sample specifically because that's a vibe. That's a vibe that you can't get. So I have room 1 and 2. We got Tom 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotta organize these guys real quick. Room cymbals, room shells. We got the actual overhead cymbals. Just the full. Cool. Now let's go ahead and do the kick in and do the sample that I just said we'll get for that. I don't think I'm going to need a kick room because, yeah. It's like, you still ripping snare overhead samples? Yep, I stole that from you. Haven't looked back since. Hey, let's go. Yeah, dude, that's like the sound of the snare that you hear whenever you hear it with just like your ears. And it's like, well, let's just add more of that. Like the more, just what you hear in the room kind of sound. Where is the thing? I'm brain farting. I don't know why I was going to my invoices folder. You don't need to see that. There you go. This is the kick of my actual kick sample out there. I love this sample so much. That's just, I love this kick. I love this kick sample. This kick sample, the kick and the snare from my drum kit out there are my sauce. I'm not even gonna lie. Eventually, I will sell them as like a sample pack. But I got to figure out how to do that. Because I wrote a book and it comes out in 6 days. So you can pre-order that in the comments. Pre-order my book. It's actually a really good book. It really is. Other drum samples. What is another kick that I want to use that has a big old fatty? You know what? I want to see what your kick is. I want to see. I don't know why I was going there. I can just access it from here. See, I don't care. I'll just like throw it in and I'll make it work. I'm cool with that. I don't hate that at all. That gives me a little bit more. It gives me a little bit more beef in the low mids that I think would be sick. Snare with the kick if you want to add the out mic rooms or anything. Yeah, for sure. I'm just like, I just want like a good kick in on this. Oh yeah, I need to duplicate that so I can actually hear this blend. So this is the original kick. Let's go ahead and bring this up. It sounds like we are out of phase. I don't even know if I like that. I'm gonna try something here. I actually like it slightly out of phase like that because when it was quote unquote in phase, it added a little bit too much of like 120 hertz. So, you know, like I said before, just because something is technically out of phase doesn't mean it's wrong in this situation. I think it actually sounds better when, you know, it's not perfectly, you know, in phase. I think it sounds better. Max velocity of the kick sample was me nailing the kick into the ground. What mic did you use? All right, and I think this is set. I think I like what this is. That's just samples up, baby. Haha. Kick in is a beta 91A. Nice. All right, so what I'm going to do is got the kick in, kick out. I could go crazy with the bussing here, and I don't think that I am. I could have a kick real and a kick fake and a whatever and whatever. I don't think I'm going to do all that. I'm just going to have, you know, my snare masters. Okay, actually, honestly, for this part, for the snare, I'll have a snare real and a snare fake. I lied. And I'm thinking about automation. So right now I'm going and, you know, just creating my buses, and I'll name these in a second. And then we have rooms, and we'll go ahead and also take the snare rooms, but I want their actual independent faders near there, create that. And then interesting thing with this overhead is going to go straight to the stereo out. So I can get rid of this stuff now. This Pro L can just chill here. overhead's going straight to the stereo out. That's bypassing the drum bus, the instrument bus, and the mix bus. That overhead's going to go straight to the stereo out. And this is how I'm going to be able to get away with, some pretty aggressive compression to get the vibe and the feel of compression without the pumping of the cymbals. One of the most important things, I feel. This is going to be my room master. Did I not throw this at a Tom Master? I guess this did create it. Tom Master. Master Tom. Same thing with the snare overhead, except I'm going to throw the snare overhead to the mix bus. And the cool thing about, this inside-outside thing is I can still send these, which I will do. I will actually send a little bit of these overheads that's going routed directly to the stereo out. I'm going to do a little bit of a send to the drum bus to add a little bit of, that excitement in there. Same thing with the snare overhead. But I want the actual main thing, the output destination, being routed somewhere else, and just so I can have control over my sends. Blah, 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 blah. What is this? Oh, that's my snare fake. Snare fake. Did I just not create a bus for that? Snare real. And kick master. Oh yeah, and then I need to have a snare master. Like an actual snare master. Snare master. So now I'm going to take snare master, kick master, tom master, room master, and we are going to send all of this to the drum bus. Drum master, and we're going to go ahead and solo that, make sure everything's going where it needs to go. So overhead is going where it needs to go. Overhead's going where it needs to go. Cool. That's good. Happy with that. And technically, right now, from this point, I definitely could start mixing. But what I'm going to show you before real quick so I can actually be successful in mixing is I'm going to set up this control surface for this session to where it's just going to be a breeze. It's going to be wonderful. Go ahead and throw a little drum kit logo there. I don't like this color, so I'm going to just change the color. Let's make it like that or something. Color track by region, cell color. Cool. That's cool, mate. That's cool. Cool, mate. Cool. All right. So now that we have that, we're going to open up U-Control right here. And my lady is calling me. I'm going to go ahead and put her on speaker. Hey, baby. I'm live. You're on speaker. You're good. What's up?
I guess I need to turn on my live notification.
Yeah, dude. You're slacking. All right, chat. Say what's good, chat. What's good? Hey.
I don't talk like that. Hello, world.
Hello, world. That's funny. I would tell you what I'm doing, but you wouldn't get it, so it's fine.
I can pretend.
You'll learn one day. I'll teach you the ways. It did, and now I got my power back. Yeah, me too. Me too.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna text you because this feels awkward.
Okay. You do that.
I want to just get online and watch you like a stalker.
I mean, you can do that too. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Alright, baby, I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. All right. And just to talk about what I was doing right now is I'm basically making two layouts. I have layout 1, which is going to be all of the tracks all together, right? So it's going to be like no matter what I do, I'll be able to bank through the tracks linearly all the way from 1 to 112 because it's apparently how many tracks I have in this session right now. And then my masters tab, that's what I'm creating right now, to where I'm going to be able to select that tab to where only my buses, my master buses, are going to show up right here. So that's what I'm doing. So my drum bus, bass master, electric guitar master, I need the acoustic master, then the melodic master, then the cinematic master. These are all my buses. You won't be able to see it populate, but it's populating right here. And now we add, actually I like to add them at the end. So at the very end, I'll have my stereo out, my mix bus, my instrument bus, and my vocal bus. And then these other ones right here will be blank. I don't want anything populating in these middle strips. So if you were able to like actually look at what's right here, I have drums, bass, electric, acoustic, melodic post production, cinematic post production, and then I have my vocal bus, my instrument bus, my mix bus, and my final master out right here. And I could be able to just recall this at the touch of a button. So now I'm going to go here to the masters and I'm going to store it. Boom. So now I can swap between this button, and now I have all my independent tracks just toggleable through here, and I can click this button, and now I have my masters page. Really, really nice, great way to have this set up. And to take this a step further, this is like so important. I'm going to go ahead and unhide these tracks that I hit a second ago, and I'm going to throw them right over here at the bottom. And I'll show you why in a second. So now we're going to create groups, because I can hide and show groups now with this control surface, and this is wonderful. Like this is one of my favorite things. So I have my hotkey set up to where group 1 is drums, 2 is bass, 3 is guitar, 4 is, so on. And all I have to do in Logic is just assign the groups. So what I want to do is I want to assign everything that's not the actual bus master that we came up with, right? So what I'm going to do here, oops. I'm going to select everything, and we're going to go to group. We're going to create group 1, new, and I want to see all my group settings. Yo, that's weird. It's like showing me nothing here, which is fine. We actually want that. We don't want the groups that we're making to follow anything. Like, we literally don't want it to follow anything, because what we want is this. You see how it's hidden now? So I take the master hide off, and I can go boom. So now we can hide all of our drums at the touch of a button and collapse the folder. Same thing, we're going to do that with the bass. Bass 2. We're going to go ahead and create a group for that. Group 2. Should probably name these drums, bass, and if I did this right, cool. It doesn't adjust that at all. I press 2. Bass is hidden. Hey, cutie, you're right. I have no idea what you're doing. It's okay. I forgive you. And then what we'll also do is I'm going to combine the electric guitar with the acoustic guitar on this, and just, name it Guitar Master. So I'm going to go ahead and, throw that there as well. Go to group 3. That's going to be guitars. And do the same thing. Press 3, and now, wow, it's hidden. Amazing. Now I'm going to do Melodic Post Production. Same exact thing. Create group. Mellow Post. And bada bing, bada boom. Hide. It's gone. Just literally repeating the same process this entire way. Cine Post. That's done. Collapse that. And last but not least, vocals. Go ahead and select all of that. Vocals. And I can press that, and now it's hidden. And look at that. Now my master session is super clean, and all I have are my masters. All I have are my actual masters, and it's wonderful. It's perfect. So now it's like, hey, maybe I have everything else. I don't want to listen to anything else, and I just want to start on my drums. I have that muted. I can go ahead and unhide my drums, and boom. Now I just only have my drums here. If I wanted to, I could press all these buttons and we're back, but I don't want to do that. I actually already have my in and out inserts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing without those on. I'm going to have them disengaged. And after I get to a certain point here, mixing the drums, I'm going to re-engage them. Let's just start with the kick master. Let's see. And of course, Logic just does what Logic does. I don't know what sample rate I have. Is it? It's 128. Move that up. Move that up, baby. I'm basically going to start using, throw my compressors on once I pretty much have all the shells in. That's when I'm going to start doing the saws. Oh, another thing that's going to be really important for me to make sure I'm doing while I do this is I'm going to have to solo the stereo out. Because where is it? Because it'll have everything else muted. I already muted the rest of the tracks, but I need the stereo out to be soloed, so I can have that overhead sample and the overhead rooms. I mean, well, just the overheads in general, going to the stereo out. Alistair says, which compressors you're using today? I'm using the 33609, the 33609, the Obsidian, the Fusion, and technically I already used the VComp. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might patch it in again and do some stuff with it. We'll see. We'll see if I think it's necessary, but I think this track is already really dense, and I don't think it's gonna need much more. He's like, so all of them? Yeah, bro. What are you going to do? You're going to spend money on all this gear and not use all of them? I might not use the VComp. That's the one I might not use, but I'm definitely using everything in this rack to my right, which is a huge part of my sound at this point. It's huge, brother. All right, yeah, so back to the Kickmaster. So I'm cool with that. That's a good balance already, and it already just sounds good. So now that's the cool part, is when stuff sounds good, it's like, ooh, how can we have some fun? I want to do some things I don't usually do. One thing I don't usually do, believe it or not, is I don't throw an SSL compressor on the kick. I like that. All right, so that's one thing that needs to chill. Is this is what happens when you do have samples and you trigger samples in a round robin. Sometimes they don't do exactly what they well, not what they should do, but it just doesn't come out perfectly sometimes. Why can I not get my region? There we go. So I'm just going to clip gain these down, make sure they're not so ridiculous. And as it goes, there'll be more things that'll reveal, the problem with that. So I like to build my stages of compression. Bro, you already know I compress a buttload. I just kind of do it in stages. You know what? Let's go ahead and use the mix wave level. Let's do that. That sounds like fun. Yeah! back a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and fatten this up with Saturn a little bit. Nice. That already feels cool. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next. Let's go ahead and make sure we got this set. You can hear how it was like getting detuned in the sampling on that. That's kind of annoying. So we're going to go ahead and notch some of that out a little bit. They're just so close to each other. Cleans it up a little bit. I don't like this. That's gross. I want to add a little bit more of that. I want to actually saturate my snare bottom quite a bit. I think it's, what did it say, jokes? I've never seen anyone but you use MBQ. I tried it and it's actually so sick. Dude, it's great. It's so fast. Like you can't, like Pro Q3 is great, but you just can't be as fast with it as you can with MBEQ. You really just can't. That added the sizzle I want. I'm going to bring the snare bot down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add some SSL channel strip to the snare top. Just a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and add my favorite snare compressor in the game, which is literally free. Grab this compressor if you don't have it. Listen to that. Beauty. I want to do some of this kick out a little bit. It's like bloated. It's like the kick out had a really bad McDonald's experience and it got super bloated. I like to add the knock and the kick out. To get rid of, I added a little bit too much by doing. Oh, that feels so good now. That cleaned it up nicely. Refocused the mid-range a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add my favorite transient designer on the snare. If you know anything about me, you know I love transient designers, baby. That's good. That's like just enough of the splattiness that I think it needs. Before I continue, actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the snare fake in too. I'm going to go ahead and bring sample 1 down. This is the snap and the ping. Right there. This one just blends right in. I'm going to add the beefcake one in now. Out. And, sorry, out. That's what I love about, when you choose the right samples like that. The snare didn't change like its tonal center, like how the snare sounded. It just sounded like I added more EQ and compression to it. And that, it just has a sharper transient, it has more body. But instead of getting that through EQ and compression, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to have to push the original sound too far past, what it actually is. Let me just use this to augment it. And now I think that I don't even need to touch those samples. I'm just going to go ahead and process my snare master together. One thing I like to do with that is make sure I am compressing that nicely. You know what? I think I might do something fun later and have like a crush it with gain reduction. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm just trying to think of like cool things that I haven't done in a while, or that's fun. I like to just do different things every time I mix because it's fun. Hey, you know what? I haven't used the view comp on the snare in a long time. Shout out Sampira. Nice. Bring the mix. I'm going to use one of my favorite EQs for the snare. Love this thing. Let's go right here to 1.5K. There's that heft. I forgot I had the germanium boost. It honestly, with where the snare is now, it might be a little too much. I think I should have done that earlier on. But let's see. Let's see what happens. That might not be a terrible move because of the fact that, this is like, it fits into that radio rock country thing that this is going to be. I'm going to take the mix down though. Cool with that. So now I have that. I'm going to go ahead and just add in my overheads. Yep. This is the snare sound I'm going for right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the room shells real quick. that down a bit. Said, what library are these drums, or were they real? Glad you asked if they're real. No, they're not real. They're the Kurt Ballou signature room sound. They're probably some of the most real sounding drums that there are. I don't particularly think it's the right sound for metal. It's not bad, but for this particular genre, for this music that I'm doing, it works great. So I'm gonna unsolo this so you can, I guess, hear if you haven't heard the track before. So the drums are perfect for this. I don't think it could really be better. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't use this for like a metal record. Oh, good lord. What happened? What did I mute? I muted the drum master. Oops. Oh, yeah. That's sounding so good right now. I'm really happy with that. One thing I want to add this snare overhead in now. I want to crank the snare overhead. Crank it. I'm going to crank it via EQ, baby. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Soundtech for this. Oh, yeah. Kind of has a church vibe with the tuning orchestra. Exactly. That was exactly what, we were kind of going for, was the mixture between Mumford & Sons, country, but then that tiny sprinkle of like CCM with some of the stuff that's in there, because literally they all are kind of like shoulder to shoulder in terms of genres. So like, let's borrow a little bit from here and there. But the root of this really is kind of like a Mumford & Sons-y kind of thing. Oh, and then the transient designer on the overhead. Bro, the transient designer on the overhead for the snare. Let's throw Spiff on it. I think Spiff will be the right one for this. Bring that back. Gonna be so good. Nice. Said I think you nailed it. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. So at this point and in this stage is where I'm actually gonna start throwing in my stuff, my things. My outboard. All right, I'm gonna let y'all decide. So I'm not gonna actually use a drum bus compressor. I'm gonna use it. I actually, a lot of the time I'm not using a drum bus compressor. What I will use is an instrument bus compressor. But the question is, should I actually? Yeah, no, screw that. I'm gonna use the drum bus compressor. I don't care. It's like, just coming in, can I hear some of the other tracks for context? Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and play the chorus real quick. I'll go ahead and mute the rest of this. This should have nearly everything else in. I'm actually just going to unhide all my tracks. So you can see the. It's not like a monster session, but it's definitely not a small one either. Yeah, so some people will say, hey, don't mix in solo. I will mix my drums in solo, and I like to build up my foundation because, my philosophy is if you get the drums sounding good and you build everything else around the drums, you can't go wrong. You just can't. If your foundation's good and you're just stacking up from there, then you can't screw it up. It's pretty hard. So we're here on the mix bus and on the instrument bus. Here's the question. On the instrument bus, should I use the Dramastic Obsidian or should I use the 33609? I'll let y'all choose because I really don't care. I think it'll sound great either way. It'll just be kind of like a fun, whatever. So for the 5 people that are in here, if everybody votes, we'll have a consensus. Let the votes roll in. 33609 goes hard for the instrument bus. And then the quote unquote loser would go on the mix bus. So either one would really be fine. But the one that goes on the instrument bus is the one I'm going to hit harder. For sure. We have 1 vote for the 33609. Going once. Going twice. 33609 for drums. Well, man. Maybe. 33609. Okay. I'll give y'all another 30 seconds. So far we have 2 for the 33609. Logic rules. It does rule when it's not, causing me to want to hate myself. Instrument bus still covers drums, to be fair. Yeah, that's true. And this is what I usually will do. I'll start it on the drum bus, and if I'll move it to the instrument bus if I feel like it's not going to ruin the drums. If you're going to hit it harder, go for that. Yeah, I want like the sonic footprint to come from what I'm going to do. I'll take their word for it. I don't have many of these expensive plugins. Oh, well, what I'm about to use isn't a plugin. It's actually some outboard gear. So hopefully that'll be, a cool thing for you to see. Let's see if I will be able to get my my phone to be able to do this. That would be interesting. It doesn't want to come up. It's even more expensive. Yeah. Hey, well, if you're just starting out, dude, I actually have a book that's like really, really helpful for people trying to get into this stuff from like more so on making it a career. So if you check in the description and check it out, you can pre-order the book. It's going to be coming out in a couple days. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. But all right, I'm just going to go with the 33609. We're going to just do that and engage this. I think it's already on, honestly. There it is. It is indeed on. I'm gonna go to my masters here again and mute all this stuff. Ooh, boy. And I'm dumb because I didn't send my drum bus to the instrument bus. Yes, sir, it is a Neve compressor. That is correct. There we go. Y'all heard that smack immediately? Just already out of the gate. I'm going to see if I can get... I really want to see if I can get my phone to connect to OBS so I can use it. But it just doesn't ever want to. Anytime. Like, when I don't want it to connect, it'll connect. But then when I want it to connect, I can't get it to connect. That way I can show y'all what's going on over here. On my compressor. I'm going to move this coffee out of the way. This coffee's getting on my nerves. You know what? I wonder if I reset my phone and turn it back on, if it'll auto try to connect. But yeah, so we are on the 33609 right now. That is on the instrument bus. And at this point, actually, what I'll do is I set my top-down chain, which I mix into it, but I don't mix into it. You know what I mean? I get the foundation started before I go, and what I like to do is I'll have recover at 12, tame at 12, and brighten like maybe like 5%, and then I'll go ahead and shave this off at around 10K for the top end so it doesn't do something crazy. I will use that. Actually not on my stereo out, sorry. This will be on my mix bus. I'll have Goldfoss first, and that'll clean things up just a little bit. It just takes away some of the micro inconsistencies and makes my job a little easier. And then with that, I'll go right into Mixhead, into my preset that I made. Where is it? Really expensive Elmer's glue. That's the one, I think. You can get the same sound from plugins, dude. Yeah, dude. Neve 3609, the wave shaper, dude. Yeah, so I'll have Goldfoss into this red wave shaper that I don't know why people use it. Yeah, dude. I don't know why people use this wave shaper. It's like too good or whatever. I don't know. So all of that is to go before my hardware insert. And what I'm setting up here in my master chain is just things to prepare before I go out. So I'm not going to do anything with Pro MB yet. This is in case I have a problem once I engage this I/O insert to go out for the mix bus. So, but I am going to be mixing into this and this for now as we hear this. Let's go ahead and turn my phone back on and hope that I'll be able to showcase what the heck is going on here. Also, if you like this, you're enjoying it, please drop a like for the stream. That way YouTube can send this to more people. That would be really sick of you. If you don't get the book, at least give me a like. That'd be fire. Phone's turning on. We'll see if it'll want to auto connect to OBS. I see that like. Thank you. I love you. I love you so much. All right, come on, connect. Connect. There we go. It worked. Look at that. We brute forced this garbage. All right, it's going to be desktop with iPhone cam. There we go. We got it. So now you're going to be able to see what I'm doing with this 33609. Here you go. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm going to go ahead and settle there. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead back to desktop with the camera. Exactly, glue. Glue and punch, baby. Punchy glue. That's why I like the 33609. You get the punch and the glue. You get the poo. Everybody likes the poo. I'm really funny. I haven't even touched my toms. I always forget about the toms. Every time, dude, I forget about the toms. It's fine. I haven't even panned the toms. This is just diabolical. This is crazy of me. Let's go ahead and just do a rough pan. The DBX. Hey, the DBX does it does a good job. Tom Master. But yeah, since these are samples, there is full bleed on these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just use a gate. That's one of the sounds of I've actually started doing gating on my toms even if there's no bleed, because the sound of gating toms is actually like that's a thing. That's part of the sound. Interesting. That's such a long. I don't use silencer, but in this case, I wouldn't even use silencer, and it's because the gate silencer actually leaves the decay alone, which is a good thing if you're trying to just get out a pesky bleed. But what I'm trying to do is I'm actually shaping the envelope of the decay of the toms. The way that a traditional gate kind of cuts off in a way is, our ear is used to that. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just throwing that on to all these toms so it'll feel like a gated performance. So some of these are resonating out a little bit more than normal. There we go. Nice. It's like I know what you mean. It sounds different in the mix. I've been using Auburn Sounds, Regenerate, but I've recently started diving into BFD. It's been a ton built-in dynamics effects by Air. I have heard of that. I might need to check that out. So what I'll do right out of the gate is I like to just start, doing some broad cuts on the toms altogether, because in general, I kind of want the toms to all feel somewhat the same. So I think this area is a good place to kind of just get it. This 5 to 6K is just always gross to me. Did I miss the V comp? I'm debating if I'm going to use the V comp because all the vocals were cut with the V comp. I actually cut all the vocals with the V comp. I might throw it in on the bass. Maybe. I haven't decided yet. There's a couple other places that I might, throw it on. We'll see. I haven't completely ruled it out yet. Just kind of depends on, if I feel that I'll be able to get the extra juice from it or not. Like that alone already, just like that little cut did so much for the toms. But there's a little rattiness I want to get out of, this tom 3 right here. That little chirpy. One of my favorite things to do is add, where is it? Where is the thing I'm looking for? Drumforge DF Excite. This is so good. Do you use the sauce on MBEQ? It depends. It depends on what it is. For this, not really. I'll use it on synths. When I get to the melodic post production, you'll see me use it on the organ. Yes, there's an organ in this track. The organ is actually a pretty big component of this song. That's disgusting. That. Die. I hated that with a passion. Oops. That's good. All right, let's go to Tom 4 here. I actually really like the EQ on that. That low end warble just needs to chill. That way I'm not losing the punch, but it's just... it's chilling out. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, because why not? Ew. No, I'll keep it right there. And now that I have like all the toms kind of... Actually, do I have all the toms? Did I get this little dude over here? No, I didn't. Little dude be sounding sad right now. Ew. Let's go ahead and throw some max bass on this dude. Come on, max bass, where you at? Said you got to update Logic for the plugin search function. Well, the thing is, if I'd have to update my computer, and I ain't doing that. That ain't happening. I'll be fine. There's no way I could update my computer right now with how much of a pain in the butt that would be to like get everything secured. I already have a 33609. On here, what am I gonna do for the compressor on the toms? You know what? I haven't used this in a while, and it's one of my favorites, the Kramer Pi. Kramer Pi is one of the best plugins probably like ever made, honestly, and I never use it anymore. Technically, you're supposed to like have your threshold all the way up or something. I forgot. I forgot how. There's like a particular way you're supposed to use this. And then last but not least for this, at least for now, I'm going to do some saturation on the top end to get rid of that weird clicky transient that's going on. That's just beautiful. Before. Dude, it just takes the edge off in such a wonderful way. Let's go ahead, overhead. There we go. Why do you reach for Saturn 1 and not 2? Force of habit. I've just used Saturn 1 for so long before I got Saturn 2. And I'm just like, Saturn 1 feels like home. I don't know. It sounds better, dude. I don't know. I just reach for Saturn 1. It is what it is. Spruce these toms up. Yeah, we need to throw a transient designer on that because that needs to not be so egregiously long. Where is my... I'm looking for a very specific one. There we go. Or at least on this one. I'm going to kill it on that one. I might just have to automate that down when it comes. Alright, let's see where we're at so far. Nice. A lot of little things go a long way. And now to add in the bass. Bass time. This is already gonna sound good out of the gate. Like it's probably gonna be leveled a little bit louder than it should be, but we're gonna go ahead and work through that. You can hear, this is the one caveat about the 33609 that I'm just not a fan about, is it distorts. When you have a lot of bass, it distorts. So this is the only thing that makes me reluctant to, I might move it to just the drum bus. I might just do that. So I'm going to experiment with that right now. Because the bass, I'm not even gonna lie, the bass is like stupid loud right now. It's really dumb loud. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep the 33609 on the drum bus. So this is one of the things that I'll do to see is like, can I fit it? And the song will just tell me right away if it likes that or not. So I have an electronic bass and the regular bass here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just play the bass print. Let's take the bass print down. So one of the last things in the chain I'm going to have is my side chain. I'm going to do two different side chains. I'm going to do a side chain to Soothe, and I'm going to do a side chain to Pro MB. I'm going to give it enough space because I am going to want to do some processing to tie it together. Had to mute for meeting if you answered. So did you track this as well? So I tracked, I engineered, I did everything for this. Co-wrote, actually produced and wrote most of this for the client, but the drums I didn't mic them up. These are all from a sampler, but the way that I produce my drums if I'm programming them is I treat them as if I was micing them up. So I give them the respect that I think they deserve to be treated as live drums, because if you treat them like live drums, they'll sound like live drums. They're not going to sound like programmed samples. So I'm going to have Pro MB, and I'm going to go ahead and have my Soothe 2. Take off Soothe first. This is going to be my side chain. Oops. I don't want that. I actually do a decent amount of side chaining on the bass, and it's in different ways that you might think it's I do some pretty fun stuff. Excuse me. All right, kick master is right there, so we're side chaining to that bus. Let's go here. External side chain. We're gonna have one for the subs, and then we're gonna also just have one here for the punch, and they're both gonna be a little different. So I'm going to do the soothe sidechain after. So I know that's feeling in a place that I'm going to want it to be. Now I really just want to clamp down on the bass. I just want this to clamp down. I want to control some, since I'm blending two different things together, I want it to just kind of like be smoothed out and evened out. Let's go ahead and put this on Opto. I'm going to do some dynamic EQ on this. Sidechain soothe. I forgot what I should have saved the Will Carlson one. I should have saved that. So it's just this. I forgot. I haven't done this in a while. Sidechain is on. Oh, I'm dumb. Listen to that glowing, dude. We got our kick punch back. Woohoo! So we got a big old chonkin bass and we got our kick punch back because we tightened up the bass, we leveled out the lows, we scooped some of this, got rid of some other things that are just more EQ based than dynamics, and we have this first phase to kind of like still clean up the sidechain to where Pro MB isn't doing too much, and then Soothe 2 is also not having to do too much because Pro MB helped it. So it's not like this weird, pumpy sidechain to the kick and bass. It's just enough for it to give it that room and that space. Now it feels like it's driving a little bit more. See, we're already at -9 and I haven't even tried to get any like loudness. So, you know, your loudness really does start in the mix. After I add these guitars in, then I'm gonna go ahead and add in the mix bus chain and start mixing into that. So we have acoustic guitars and we have electric guitars here. The electric guitars in the chorus I want to be a little bit louder than the acoustics, but the acoustics in the verses definitely are well, it's kind of the only thing that's there. So let's unmute the electric guitar master. I'm gonna go ahead and mute the lead first. Says, do you have headroom on all these tracks? Honestly, I don't know. Doesn't really matter to me if I do or not, because, you know, in the digital domain, you know, nothing clips until it hits the final, you know, export. So the only time I have to worry about headroom is if I'm going out to my analog stuff, which, you know, if there's a problem, then, you know, it'll be very obvious and I just turn stuff down. But, you know, it seems like I have all the headroom I need right now. So I want to level the acoustics over here. Okay, guys, I have to go and open up the DAW myself. This was really helpful. Awesome, dude. I'm really glad this could be of help for you. If you're not subscribed, it'd be sick if you could subscribe. I have a lot of stuff that, you know, hopefully would also be useful and beneficial for you on this channel, and I'll, you know, continue to be active. One thing I'm going to do is this acoustic part. I'm probably going to put that on its own track because I think that needs to be dealt with separately. Said it would be cool to see how you use the Mixwave plugins, just if you end up using it. Yeah, of course. I mean, honestly, I could probably use some. I used the Mixwave. I used a couple of them already on the drums, but I can probably use some here. Honestly, the VNE or the VLC would probably be really good on this. The acoustic rhythms. Okay, I'll leave the door unlocked. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, everything just for the acoustics right now is just control. Oh, I didn't even show y'all what was on. I guess I could do a full before and after of the acoustics, because this is, I was partially mixing them whenever I had done the session. So I guess I'll show you what it's with nothing. This is nothing. This is from the session. This is what we just did. All nothing. That's after. Finally do something to the overheads. I forgot that I hadn't done anything to the overheads at all. That's hilarious. Yeah, let's fix that. I like, where is it? You know what? I know what I'm going to do. Use purified on the overheads. I'm going to use type F. There we go. Have you gotten the pawn shop comp? Yeah, I do. Dan Corneff actually gave it to me. Some good old sound gooderizer for the overheads. Yeah. Just wanted to bring this out a little bit more. Bring out some detail. Oh, dude, yeah, I love... Honestly, a lot of my sound from like 3 years ago used to be the talkback limiter, pawn shop comp, a lot of his stuff. Yeah, like my drums used to be huge on that. I have nothing against it. I just, honestly forgot that I had it. But it's so good. It's really good. I love it. Overheads. Ew! That crash is nasty. much better. Who needs Soothe, bro? Soothe is for normies. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I'm probably still going to use Soothe. Just lightly. But I use Soothe after I bring up the sauce. Metric Halo. Yeah, dude, the Sontec is just... It's cray-cray. So smooth now. Alright, Alistair. I'm gonna use Saturn 2. You pushed my hand. I just like to do a little bit of warm tape saturation on the top end to, you know, get rid of some of the harsh. See, and now I would say this is prepared for Soothe. Shift Command +1. I've never heard of that before. Let me see. Shift Command. It's not doing anything. one thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to adjust when the guitar does its special little thing. I want more kick. I want more kick, and I want more chonk. I'm going to put a Sontech on the kick. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the melodic master and add some of this other stuff in. And as I do this, this is where I'm going to throw the Obsidian and the SSL into my mix bus. And this is probably going to be completely cooked right now. The gain staging is probably like way the heck off. This is hopefully it doesn't blow anything up right now. Oh yeah, it is like compressing the living balls out of everything right now. My water! Go ahead and throw that back. Yep, and that is why the Obsidian is such a great bus compressor. That is why. I'll just take off the master bus stuff for now so you can hear what it's all doing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of Pro MB and I'm going to throw linear multiband from Waves on instead. I haven't used that in a while, and that's honestly been one of my favorite multibands. It's just such a good... It sounds so good. at -8. Haven't even put the vocals in. So this is going to be like -7 right out of the gate before I'm even trying to get any loudness. Like, this isn't me trying to get loudness. I'm going to make sure this isn't clipping my converters too hard, though. There is a problem. I forgot about this. When I have this coming back in, I actually have to use... The gain is not set. It doesn't come in the way it's supposed to. There's something wrong with my converters. So, unfortunately, I have to go to dual mono, and I have to adjust my gain when it comes back in because my Apollo is jacked up or something. Oh, how wonderful audio is, right? Look at that. That 0.7 dB is like, that's the difference between it feeling like weird and lopsided and, correct. It's a janky thing I have to know about my setup just because I guess the components in my interface are starting to give out, but hey, it's there. It's there. All right, now I can start adding in the rest of this stuff. Finally, Melodic Master. I'm going to go ahead and keep this stuff down. I'm going to keep the organ. Where is my organ? Can I have my organ, please? Organ Master. Thank you. EQ. Nice. Same thing with MBEQ here. Some of that right there. Oh yeah, way more controlled. Yeah, dude, the sauce is really good on synths. It's so good. I'm actually going to use CG2 on this to bring up the low-level information. go to the snare overhead and send this to the stereo out. See? I like that. I just realized I barely did anything to the rooms. completely forgot about the cinematic post production down here. The Mumford & Son clap super loud. Oh yeah. Sounding pretty chonky. Nice. Woo. So far, so good. Vocals are basically kind of already mixed-ish. I went pretty hard on it whenever we were in the session. I was just like feeling, I was like, you know what, I'm going to make these vocals sound really good right now. Said, wow, that Neve plugin from Kit is crazy. Yeah, dude, I love it. That's, I really wish a plugin company made the dynamic section for that one from the 80 series. It's just such a wonderful, everything from the Neve 80 series is so good. The 8078, I think that's what it was. I think it was 8078. Before I move on, I want to deal with these acoustics. I need to put them on another track. Not that. This part. that. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this and throw this on another track. Get rid of that. Because I really do want to just treat that differently. And it's just that part. Only that part. There we go. Just want to do that part alone. That way I don't have to screw up my fader levels just for that part. So I'll be able to take this down. And I also want to add, I'm going to throw CG2 on this just for the density knob. And for the density knob alone, kind of to use it for some upward expansion in the low-level information of what's going on here. Because it's a pretty dynamic part. Take off true peak limiting. I'm just like full sending that. I don't care. I really don't care. It just brings up the da 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 in such a beautiful way and evens it out. It really, really does. I also want to shave down what is the most transparent, non-aggressive compressor that I have that will tame a little bit of those peaks slightly. I really wish I had the VNE. That would be perfect for this. But MixWave didn't send that to me. Let me see what I got. You know what? I know exactly what I'm going to use. MBSI, baby. I'm going to use the compressor on this. Wait a minute. What's happening? I think I did something really dumb. I knew I did something dumb. I swapped my left and my right channels on the patch bay. I was like, that's not guitar left. We're good now. Everything's fine. That was crazy. I'm trying to basically get it on the pick attacks and just do a little bit. So if we listen to MBSI and CG2, what that just did for both of these. That's so beautiful, dude. That just like evened it out wonderfully. And if I did that on the rest of the parts for the acoustic, it would have been too much. I think on this, I want to add a little bit more of the low mids back in. Wait, well, I guess I can't do that on MBSI. Can I? Yeah, I can because the frequency selector is wrong. That's funny. I forgot about that. Totally forgot that I had this. Nice. Actually, I'm going to do the Hotel California thing too. Which is just boosting top end on MBSI. That's the Hotel California thing. Cranking CG2 on toms is kind of cool too. Oh, that's why. I'm stupid. I'm big dumb. That's supposed to be here. Now I'm ready for vocals.
Easy, it's the pain that never leaves. Maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe. From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, defining that the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure part of me. I've been losing.
See, that's the great thing is I honestly could just be like, oh, vocals are done. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, that's like 90% there. It really is. So we're going to go ahead and just go through this.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe. And you see,
one thing I'm immediately realizing is, yeah, bass master just here in general needs to just come down.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me.
So does kick in and
Scars
kick
cut
sample.
deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
Vocal can go down here in general.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside.
One thing I'm going to do to make room is, since I have the acoustic verse here, I'm actually going to go ahead and send this to a bus before it hits the acoustic master here, or the acoustic rhythm. So ACG verse, and the reason I want to do this is I'm going to do a soothe sidechain to the vocal, because I have two areas where this comes up, and I don't want the vocal right now is sitting a little bit too loud for my taste, but if I have it any softer, the guitar takes over a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sidechain this to my my main vocal. Where is it? I need to actually go see where this bus is at. Where is my main vocal master? That's what it's called. It should show what bus number. It's bus 12. There we go. So this is some solos right here. This is some solos.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind.
Like that, even that was such a wonderful difference. It's a little bit aggressive, but
holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe. Easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
that feels really dang good. That soothe sidechain is just chef's kiss. So good. I've never used Track Spacer part of me wants to get it to try it, but then Soothe just works so well. I'm like, bro, do I really? One thing I definitely want to do is here in this chorus. I think I want to juice the bass some more. I think I want the bass juiced. Actually, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead, I know what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to do a mixture of two things. I want to perceive the bass a bit more, so I'm going to boost a little bit more of the lower mids, because we did some cutting and some shaping around that area when they were individuals, but now that they're kind of like brought together and solidified, I can bring it up. So we got that, and now I'm also going to just use the Sontec and give me a little bit of juice, the low shelf. That did exactly what I wanted it to do. Now I feel the bass and perceive it easier. So I, basically just boosted the subs overall on the entire track, and just the bass in general. I wanted a little bit more of the perceived low mids to come out. And then actually for extracurricular points, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some more of the throatiness out on just the actual bass print. Yeah, all of those moves really just made such a big difference.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
That downbeat hits so much harder now.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're
do a little crescendo right here on the bass.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
One thing I want to do is there's something, it's in the drums, there's a resonance that needs to just chill the F out right now. It's the snare room. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have my room master come down a little bit in general. And then these snare rooms right here, I'm going to go ahead and create some automation points. And I'm just going to drag those down. Same thing with the toms here. I don't need that low end ringing out at all for any reason.
And you see, when I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
And that hi-hat chick is a little bit too loud. Relax, buddy, relax.
I've gotta learn how to breathe.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna clip gain it. That way it's, you know, softer before it hits all the juice.
I've gotta learn how to breathe. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
I think that's a good level for that, and I want this one to be a little hotter.
I've gotta learn how to breathe.
Gotta make sure that this, you know, transition hits hard.
Gotta learn how to breathe. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
This guy right here, boost him up.
Breathe. Breathe.
Boost that one.
Breathe. Breathe.
Scoot that over a little bit. Somehow that got moved.
Breathe. When I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. Standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. Out of your mind, you see. When I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
Another thing I want to do is make sure on the call out, the instrument bus comes down a little bit. Then it ramps up right about here.
I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. Standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. I'm done standing.
Like each one of these little tiny moves just alone doesn't really do much, but then, you know, in the grand scheme of everything going on, it really does a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
I'm standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
And then I have, I think, a reverb on this. Yeah, the reverb on this one needs to just chill out a wee bit. Chill out, mate, chill out.
When I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. And you see, when I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
It's your favorite part of the whole song because it's designed to hit you in the face.
When I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. When I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
And in addition to that, I mean, I guess I'm going into automation mode, whatever. I'm going to actually take where is my wet dry mix right here? And I want the end of this to get a little dry before it gets wet. Babe, relax. Relax.
Learn how to
Says shout out to my front page for getting me here. Welcome, dude. I appreciate you being here.
learn how to breathe.
So there's that, and then I'm going to have to take my volume and also bring this down slightly.
Gotta learn how to breathe. How to breathe.
You know what? I want it to ramp up and then chill.
Learn how to breathe.
There we go. That feels good.
I'm holding on. I've gotta learn how to breathe.
So what I was just doing there is I'm trying to make this transition from the intro to the hook just like hit you really, really hard. You know, adjusting tails and the drum resonances and the overall instrument bus, little things that hang over. They're all super, super tiny details. And right here, I basically made the reverb get a little drier. and then I made it get wet towards the very end, and then it drops off super, super quickly. And what happens with this particular reverb is when it does that, it gets louder and it becomes more in your face, but then it becomes too in your face, so I had to take the volume and bring it down just a tad to compensate. And what, results is just a really, really natural progression into this. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and boost these acoustics. Do this.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. Maybe
There we go.
holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves.
And honestly, for this acoustic part right here, I'm just gonna ride. I'm gonna ride this.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. And maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
You record vocals and instruments on the same project file? Yes, I do. Unless there's like a reason why, like I shouldn't, like if the project file gets corrupted somehow or something crazy. What was I gonna do? Oh, my automation downbeat right here on the instrument bus.
Learn how to breathe.
Then also go ahead and select that. Instrument bus is right here. Shift, touch, and I'm going to go ahead and ride this.
Gotta learn how to breathe.
Redo that.
Breathe. Alcohol to pills.
These chants need to be way louder.
Why am I alive? Why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills, the nights alone in misery, defining out the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills, the night. Why am I like this? Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills. From alcohol to pills, the nights alone in misery. I've been losing me, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing nothing personal. Just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? My heart lately terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this?
I'm gonna go ahead and just
From
make...
alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery.
Hey yo, what happened? What is happening here? Let's go back to vocal main master. Where is my thing? Main vocal master. There we go. Chorus Vox. Cajoris. Sure. That's fine. I just want to add some Valhalla vintage verb to just the chorus vocal here. Let's go ahead and make my I should have just made this a preset already. I do this all the time.
I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? From
Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is a mixture of a bunch of different things. This is gonna be sidechain crazy, if you haven't already thought I was going sidechain crazy. So love this guitar lead. We are gonna sidechain some dynamic EQ to this guy. You know what? I'm just gonna sidechain Soothe. Soothe just does such a dang good job. Okay, I'm gonna do that on the guitar lead track, and we're gonna do it right about the 2K region where everything likes to be. Sidechain, guitar lead to the vocal. Am I like bugging right now? Oh yeah.
I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this?
And then on the instrument bus, we are going to do we're going to sidechain Pro MB to the vocal on the instrument bus. This is going to be the whole vocal bus instead. I think that's my vocal bus. Pretty sure. I'm going to do it right here in the top end air a little bit, and right here in the mid range, and that's about all that I'm going to be doing it for. Oops. Got to make sure that's set to external.
I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me again. Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to some nights alone in misery, defining that the problem is a mind-fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance ain't bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified. Two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about. Two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh.
Why in the world, bro, is my dang control surface just like... Dude, my control surface just keeps disconnecting. I was so ready to like start automating that. Automating my verb send.
And oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mind.
Alright, resetting the console. I don't know why it keeps doing that, bro. It's not very cash money. If anybody is here and you want to support me, you can pre-order my book in the description. It's actually a really helpful book for how to be able to do this full time. All right, thing is reset. I'm gonna go ahead and go and do this.
Two more shots, 'cause
It's reset, but it hasn't populated my channels yet. Come on, Avid, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? No, it's just like, I just think it's a tech issue. It's just finicky equipment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Same way that Logic will be wonderful, and then other times it just won't be. All right. Cool. So I'm at my bridge, Vox verb. I'm going to go ahead and automate that versus the main Vox bridge, like so.
two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today.
did it go? Oh, I accidentally turned it off. Oops. Oopsie. I don't know why I turned it off. Man, that's how you automate a vocal reverb.
2 more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today.
Whenever I mix front of house live, that's basically what I do. I just ride my vocal effects fader and my and my vocal DCA side by side like that. There's something weird There it is. The root was just a little bit too loud in the pop keys. Haven't even tried to get loudness and we're negative 7.5. It's wonderful. So wonderful. You know what? I guess that means it's time for loudness. Time for loudness. We're going to hit negative 5. I'm just telling y'all right now, we're hitting negative 5.
Oh God, maybe it ain't nothing personal. Spin through all the worst you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance ain't bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this?
happened. That was weird. What was that? Something flaming right now? Something sounds like it's flaming. Adding good math in CG2 does not create flaming, so that was weird. Yeah, it's distorting a little bit right now. I'm trying to find the happy medium balance. I don't mind a little bit of distortion, but I like to see how far I can mitigate it first before I'm like, okay, I'll just go with that. I'm going to change this. Have to ping my I/O inserts. What I do is I'll figure out where in the chain things are starting to distort a little bit, and then I'll clean up before that. Because that way when I clean up before it, I can, mitigate the distortion. There we go. We got that guy. And then I had this on the drums. Okay, so we're good there. Yeah, something weird is going on. Where did my snare go? Things I like to do is I will send my at this stage, where is it? Is it this guy? There we go. At this stage in the mix, I'll go ahead and actually have a send to the mix bus, or actually straight up to the stereo out. I'll make a send to the stereo out right here on the channel, bypassing everything for the snare if I just feel like I want some more.
All the worst, tell me, baby, why
to do it from the Kickmaster instead. I think the Kickmaster is going to feel better.
Personal, tell me, baby, why am I like this?
I'm gonna just get some of my headroom back here from this freaking electronic bass just eating up my headroom. Like my subs, but I don't need that much. Especially after everything gets brought up. Get out of here, True Peak. Alright, let's see how the intro feels.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. But maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on. I've gotta learn how to to breathe. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this?
It says, do you use oversampling when getting this loud? Nah, I don't usually use oversampling really much at all, to be honest. Right now I'm just doing a check at lower volume to see how this feels. Dial back on the mix bus.
I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, defining out the problem. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of I've been losing my.
Like, that feels pretty good. I ended up backing off on the on my mix bus compressor just like a dB, and it opened it up a little bit more. It's just like a balancing act of, you know, seeing where the song wants to be, how loud you want to go, how loud you can go before distortion, and then weighing the pros and the cons of, is the distortion good? Does it detract from the song? And am I, you know, squeezing the life out of this thing? So I like to find the envelope and break it and then dial it back a hair. So, and then figuring out the way to make it sound like you didn't break the envelope. That's the fun part, which is why I really like transient designers. I'm going to use Spiff here on the overheads to bring back a little bit more.
I've gotta learn how to breathe. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone.
Yeah, like Spiff on the overheads right there just added a lot of dynamics right back. Well, not necessarily added dynamics right back, but at least it feels like there is. So that's the trick of when you're trying to get it loud, is obviously some things get, you know, choked. And that's why I have like the inside-outside routing with, you know, the kick and the snare, that I'll bypass all of the compression. Everything goes straight to the final, you know, limiter anyway. And then I'll do something like this with the overheads, which is also doing the same exact thing. And just being able to send that, you know, straight to the final limiter and then put, you know, a little bit of transient, you know, designer on it from Spiff really allows it to, you know, feel not crushed, even though you're crushing the living soul out of this thing. Because, you know, let's not be, you know, I'm not going to act like I'm not, you know, beefcaking this song right now. But, you know, that radio rock country thing, that's kind of the sound. So I'm just like leaning into it. My mouse also just like, I don't know if it died or if it disconnected, but I think everything just disconnected. My computer will do that every now and then. Let's see if it comes back. Come back to me, friend. If you guys are here and you're enjoying what you see, please drop a like and subscribe. Consider subscribing, and check out the description, because I have my book for pre-order, and it's a really good book. There's a lot of really important stuff on, you know, how to kind of do this for a living in there, and I think it'll be of value for some people.
I'm sure part of me, I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me,
was cool before, but then after adding all of this stuff that brings that frequency range back up, now it's just too much. So now we gotta I gotta shave out like a good amount. Yeah, like that wasn't doing anything other than just taking up valuable space. When you're getting this loud, it's all about, you know, finding space.
In my heart, living terrified of how God made me.
That cut so clean. Just from that cut. Like, where's that stinky little bugger?
God made me, ain't nothing personal. Spin through all the worst you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots.
All right, now we're gonna do some Fletcher Munson curve stuff for fun.
Why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots, 'cause I'm baby. Why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. Why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots, 'cause I'm not.
I'm gonna go back to this Pro Q. That guy. Again, we're just doing some cleanup. Like this EQ down here, the perceived loudness that this gave was really nice by just, you know, rebalancing a couple things. Like the biggest boost here is 1.8 dB. Like that just gave it a nice little lift. And I'm gonna pull up my Pro L again. We're gonna go ahead and get Pro Q3 over here, and this is going to be some mid-side tomfoolery. And then I'm going to use the Sontec to, you know, top it all off.
From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how.
Good Lord. So I just want the mids. I want to bring the vocal out and just a lot of the detail in the mix in the mids. Center channel.
From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, defining out the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. Again, ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone.
Like you might be seeing like there's a bunch of, you know, plugins on here, but you're seeing how tiny moves these are, and every single thing is doing a completely different it has a completely different job, and the order in this chain is very important. You swap the order of any of these things and, you know, it just changes exactly how you're able to get headroom back. So we're going to go to mid-side enable. We're going to take off the channel link. Wait, is it IO link? What is the one? Cool. This is what I want.
From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery,
I want to beef up
finding
the
out the
size a little
problem
bit.
is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. Again, ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, defining out the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. Again, ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, defining out the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades. I'm sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. Again, ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks.
Bro, that true peak limiting on by default just like cooks so bad. I hate it.
From alcohol to all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. Again, ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance and bliss. I take what I couldn't give, lot of
Now
pills.
let's hear how this affects the initial drop.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. But maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
Oh, that initial drop slaps so freaking hard. That's so good. So good, man. So I'm gonna automate an EQ right here that I don't like.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. But maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside.
I'm just gonna put a band. I'm gonna put a bypass on that.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. But maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see.
Sonox drum gate 3-in-1. I want to get that. I really do. I just, I can't justify buying another plugin. Hey, Sonox, if you're watching, send me the plugin. I'll do a video.
Your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. Breathe. I've been losing my heart lately. And they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe.
We loud, boy. We loud and we proud. Just gotta massage it. Gotta knead your mix like dough, like a fat little dough boy.
Ain't nothing personal, just been through all the worst, you know. Tell me, baby, why am I like this?
On this part, I forget that the overheads changed dramatically. That's what it is. Bass, you're gonna have to come down. Honestly, on this entire part, I'm just gonna bring the bass down. The bass is just doing a little bit too much right here. Maybe just for this first part, I'll let it, crank. It's starting to distort a little too much for my liking around here. Right there, that's too much, bro. That needs to chillax. So Sonox, Andy Sneap has already approved. Oh no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Sonox has always been awesome. Gonna make your drums better. I'm doing in metal. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Metal is my main thing. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm mixing this song. But yeah, I mean, I don't need it. I have a really good, workflow already. It would be great. But I just don't need to be spending any more money.
I've been losing my heart lately.
That's fire.
Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today.
Big old fat boomy drums. I'm gonna go ahead and chill out on some of these toms though. Yeah, it's this tom. This tom's got some unruly low end getting pushed up. That's the thing, when you start pushing things loud, it just brings up everything. So you gotta start cutting the stuff, it reveals the snakes and the weeds. I don't need all that low end. Said I've been watching your videos, no problem, but search then and you'll understand me. No, yeah, I saw George Lever, he posted about it, and I saw some videos about it. It's great. I would buy it if, I wasn't literally in the process of getting married and a whole bunch of other things. I just, if someone else wants to send it to me, which they probably should, I'll do a good video on it, and I'll probably sell them a lot of stuff, then they can do that. Reach out to Sonox for me. All right. This is about like 95% done. The only thing I would be doing really is just a couple of automation stuff here on the instrument bus and the vocal bus, like how that, how I ride that together, and then some of the vocal things here. But, I'm going to need an ear break, and I'm just going to go eat. I'm hungry. And I'm going to go ahead and print this out to the client to be able to send and for him to be able to listen. This is at first pass. Like, this is a good first pass. And, so we're going to render this out together. Let me find the stopping place. All right. Dear me, sorry. Next version 1.
Holding on ain't easy, it's the pain that never leaves. But maybe that's the point of being human, you and me. Scars cut deeper when they're left inside of your mind, you see. But I'm done standing here holding on, I've gotta learn how to breathe. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, Tell me, baby, why am I like this? From alcohol to pills to nights alone in misery, to finding out the problem is a mind fighting disease. Future's looking grim behind these shades I barely see. It's not all that I'm made of, but it's damn sure a part of me. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Ignorance ain't bliss. I take what I couldn't give, leaving marks on my wrist. Why am I like this? Two more shots, 'cause I'm not done yet. Oh, my mind is all messed up. I don't think it's gonna change. I don't think it's gonna change. Call my mama, she's done praying, hoping I don't lose my brain. Call to say I'm okay. Can't say the same about today. I've been losing my heart lately, terrified of how God made me. It ain't nothing personal, it's been through all the worst, Tell me, baby, why am I like this? Why am I like this?
Yay! All right, setting that to client. And the next video you'll see is probably one that I recorded of me actually prepping this entire session. So, appreciate you guys sticking around. Says, okay, thank you, good marriage and enjoy it. Thanks, man, I appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.